The entry-level performance motorcycle segment in India, which essentially includes bikes that cost less than Rs 4 lakh and displace under 600cc, has been seeing a lot of activity lately. But it is motorcycles like the KTM 390 Duke and the Kawasaki Z250 that have really set the bar. Clearly, it isn't going to be a cakewalk then for the latest entrant in the space, the DSK Benelli TNT 300. Yes, the new TNT 300, needs to deliver on a number of aspects if it has to be a worthy alternative to the likes of the KTM and Kawasaki. It needs to be good looking, it needs to be desirable, and it needs to be fun to ride. But more importantly, it needs to carve a niche for itself. It needs to offer something in the segment that the motorcycles currently don't offer. But does it? No matter what class, price or positioning, if a motorcycle India needs to carve a niche for itself, it must stand out when it comes to design. It needn't always be pretty, but it must be evocative. The TNT 300 in that sense doesn't really score a 10 on 10. Yes, it is a good-looking motorcycle with near spot-on proportions and enough cuts and creases and visual bulk. But a standout design, it most definitely isn't. Having said that, the 300 still has some nice touches. The front bikini fairing is a standard affair, and so is the fuel tank. But the front mudguard, the tank extensions and the side-mounted rear monoshock in particular give this 300 a distinctive presence. The TNT 300 also has some other good-looking parts. Upside-down forks finished in silver, twin pedal-type rotors for brakes and smart-looking 12-spoke wheels. It also gets LED tail lamps, sleek indicators and a part digital, part analog instrumentation, which is also easy to read on the move. The build quality and attention to detail on this Benelli is pretty good too. Unlike its competitors, the KTM and the Kawasaki, the Benelli doesn't have such aggressive seating ergonomics. So it's got this large and comfortable seat, it's got this wide and tall handlebar, and the foot pegs, even though slightly rear set, they're not uncomfortably so. So overall the seating is more like a large commuter or a touring motorcycle, and not exactly like an aggressive street naked. The engine on the TNT 300 reflects this. It's a 300cc paddle twin, complete with liquid cooling and fuel injection. It is mated to a 6-speed gearbox. Now, even though on paper it makes 37 PS of max power, its power delivery, throttle response and torque curve is more akin to relaxed tourer than a mad naked. But if you are in the mood for some flat-out riding, keep the engine spinning upwards of 8,000 RPM and the Benelli doesn't really disappoint. But what really impressed us about this engine is its smoothness and the lovely intake note. You can sit at the red line all day long and the engine just doesn't complain. There are no ugly vibrations to take away from the riding feel. And then there's the intake and exhaust note. This 300 sounds like a much bigger multi-cylinder. And it only gets sweeter as the revs climb. Lest we forget, the 6-speed gearbox has a nice, crisp and effortless quality to its shifts as well. The 300 uses USDs up front and a side-mounted monoshock at the rear. The latter is adjustable for preload. The chassis, meanwhile, is a trellis frame and it is, in our opinion, the weakest link when it comes to the 300's dynamics, apart from the bike's near 200 kg curb weight, of course. There's unnecessary amount of weave and flex in the chassis. The tires, however, are very good. These are Pirellis with 120 section front and a wide 160 section at the rear. In fact, the rear tire is the widest in its class. The grip levels and the feedback from the tires are top-notch too. It really allows you to push the 300 harder than its chassis conveys. Braking again, thanks to the tires and the feedback-rich twin-rotor brake setup, is right up there with the best. DSK Motor Wheels is betting big on this, the TNT 300, and we can see why. It's a nice-looking motorcycle, it sounds really nice, and it is easy to live with. Now, if you want a motorcycle to go chase twisties with and ride flat out, then this isn't the motorcycle for you. Because no matter what, this just cannot match its competition on the dynamic front. But if you want a motorcycle that can double up as a torquey commuter and a good highway motorcycle, then the TNT 300 might be worth considering.